Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. My name is Stephen Hackbarth, and today I'm joined here with the Sarah Vantine. And Sarah, we have an amazing panel here today at the Rohrman Automotive Group's Schaumburg Kia grand opening.
We do, Stephen. This is an exciting lineup that we have here today. We have Mike Stoll of Mike 360. We have Nick Ruffolo of Rohrman Automotive Crew, Brandon Hall of Alliance Dealer Solutions, Ed Roberts of Bozard Ford Lincoln. Gentlemen, welcome to the panel.
Thank you. Thank you.
And guys, we hear the word hospitality a lot in this industry. How do you define true hospitality inside a dealership, and how is it different from just good customer service? We want to open to you, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I think the big thing is people get customer service and hospitality mixed up. Customer service is a very reactive approach, and hospitality is a planned out approach. And so I think that's the big thing. And it's all the transitions that happen in a dealership. So there's so many handoffs with the customer in a dealership. And customer service is doing what you're asked when you're asked to do it. Hospitality is doing half before and making the person feel good before questions even asked.
Awesome. I think that if you look at hospitality, it's not only for the customer, it's also part of the culture of the employees. When you look at the industry today in a 360-degree view, when you have the customers and the employees in the middle of the universe, hospitality is grace. Hospitality is celebration. Hospitality is grow the people. Hospitality is retain the customer. When you have a mindset today for employees and customers being in the same mindset, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I believe that we talked about earlier on the set, off the set, that this is where the transition is in the industry right now. So love your feedback, but I think it involves all. From Mr. Rohrman all the way down to the brand newest employee in the company to the newest customer that showed up. How do we treat them all the same so they want to just get out of bed this morning and come to work or come back and get their oil change together? So
Ed and Nick, what pieces are you seeing where hospitality is intersecting automotive best practices?
Well, unfortunately, our industry doesn't get the best rep. And so, yes, dealers are trying to shift to where they can give a good customer experience where they're polite and they may open the door, they may do what. But when you add in the elements of hospitality, where you add in the elements of the anticipated needs, and you grab the door and you greet the customer by their name before they even know yours, those are elements that really sets us apart and takes it to a different level and starts setting the tone for an experience rather than just a transaction.
You know, in our organization, we have to practice that across not just one rooftop, but the entire organization, because the common denominator that we have in the front of our buildings are our last name. So if a customer's experience at our Ford store was, just astronomical, and they just loved everything that we did, our hospitality was through the roof, and, they visit our Lexus store and they get to go see our elaborate waiting area with the movie theater and virtual golf and miniature golf and the workout facility. There's all that great stuff that's upstairs, right? The customer doesn't know about it, and we don't take the time to introduce them to what we have. No difference if you came to my house, right? We're going to take the fundamentals of something I've learned many years ago is welcome the customer as if you're welcoming someone to your home, right? Because that's what's now expected of. And more importantly, my mindset is the staff I have underneath me, those are my customers. And I got to make sure that when they're coming to work, they're excited to come to one. Not because they just got to make a check, but they want to go to work because they enjoy the people that are around them because the culture that we develop. It keeps going,
Absolutely. Well, Brandon and Mike, what does it actually take to train and sustain a hospitality-driven experience across an entire dealership?
Yeah, that's a great question. It goes back to culture, right? It's all about culture, but culture is not the only thing either. You've got to have process. And for us, that means we're going to have processes before attitude, and then we're going to train for attitude later. But if you don't have a process, if the service drives chaotic and you view cars everywhere and nobody's greeting the customers and things like that, you can't smile your way out of that. So no matter how much you want to emphasize on having your employees be hospitable to guests, if it's chaotic, it's not going to work. And so it comes with structure. And I think culture and structure are the two biggest things.
Nope. Process is key. It is. In everything that we do, whether you're in this industry, outside the industry, there's a process to everything you do. It's only a process, though, when that process is now protected. It's a written down process. It's explained why that process is there. You're having your huddle meetings or your one-on-ones. If there was a miss of that process, and explain what took place of when that process was missed. And if that process was greeting the customer and asking the corrected open-ended questions when a customer came in with a concern, if we didn't ask the right question, we may not diagnose the car right. That's, again, a customer experience. So you get all the hospitality again in the world, right? But it starts at the time of reading, whether they're coming into the showroom and excited about purchasing their first brand new car, or they finally purchase their brand new car, they got to go into service for the first time. There's a warning light on it. So gotta be prepared for it.
Yeah, I think that people in process, obviously, where we've been. I think that there are three other areas that we need to think about is the data. We've got all these customer names. We got all these unsold customer names. How can we collect that data and be able to communicate back with the customer? They may not have bought a car. They may not get their oil changed, but how do we love them back up to be able to provide that experience? And then you look at the technology. So you got people in process, all this data, right? Technology, and then how do we measure? What are the areas of scorecards that we're going to celebrate every single day and look for one small thing that newest employee did right, so we could celebrate that, as opposed to, hey, your shirt's on set. Look for areas to celebrate. So people process, love it. Data, leverage the data to retain and delight the employees and the customers. Leverage the technology to make it more frictionless. And then put a scorecard together where everybody's happy about everything you're doing every single moment of the day.
But you know what? Just to piggyback briefly what you just said, in the Rohrman Automotive Group, though, we do things along those lines. So when we do have, say, an advisor got a survey that was excellent, they just mentioned the advisor, how well the job they did from either the tech video or just a follow-up. We have a newsletter that we share in the organization. So every employee, when they get their pay through our pay app, they get a notification that, hey, so-and-so from this store did this, and there's the clippings. Take it right out from whether it might be on a Google review or on a survey. Now their colleagues can now read that. So now if it's like, well, if you could do it, how come they can't do it, right?
Yeah.
And I want to be recognized on a newsletter because, guys, at the end of the day, we're in a very competitive business, both internally and externally with other dealers and independents. So keeping yourself and standing away from the rest, is going to make you shine.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a bow on that because we talked about hospitality being proactive. And in the absence of process, everything's a reaction. And there is no hospitality in reaction.
Sir. And I think the big thing is you hit it on the head, right? People have options. Yes. And you're in a very competitive market, no matter what city or state you're in. And so when the customer leaves, hospitality is a feeling. And so either they're going to feel, hey, customer service was, they fixed my car. If you're hospitable to them and you have that culture built into the dealership, they're going to leave here and say, not only did they fix my car, but I trust this place and I'm going to come back.
I can tell they care. They truly care.
Absolutely.
This is an exciting time in our industry to be able to unpack all of the best practices when it comes to hospitality.
Absolutely, and it's a common thread line that I'm picking up on is that it's an intentional mindset throughout every single process within the dealership. So
That it is. Well, gentlemen, we're here at Rohrman Automotive Group. It's an exciting day at Schaumburg Kia. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.